Imagine a world where price tags don't matter anymore. Not because everything is free, but because the numbers just don't mean anything. A world where being a millionaire is as common as being a person. It sounds like a fantasy, right? A dream where all our financial stress just vanishes in an instant for every single person on earth. But what if that dream, in the blink of an eye, became a global nightmare? What if the very thing that was supposed to save us was the thing that broke the world? It happens on a Tuesday morning. A silent digital pulse ripples across the globe. In every city, every village, from the richest CEO to the most remote farmer, every bank account on the planet suddenly reads $1 million. There's no explanation. No one knows how it happened, but it's real. And for a few glorious hours, all of humanity is united in a state of pure, unfiltered joy. Part 1. The Dream. The first day is a global party. People pour into the streets not to protest, but to celebrate. Strangers are hugging. Decade-old debts are paid off with a casual tap on a smartphone, and the sound of popping champagne corks becomes the world's new anthem. The news? It's just a spectacle of disbelief and laughter. Anchors, who are now millionaires themselves, show wild street festivals from Tokyo to Times Square. The Great Resignation isn't some slow trend. It's an instantaneous event. The world's inboxes are flooded with two simple words: I quit. Those emails come from sanitation workers, baristas, pilots, nurses, and CEOs alike. Why work a job you don't love when you have $1 million? Why put up with a long commute or a difficult boss when you never have to worry about money again? At first, the feeling is total liberation. It's as if humanity has been freed from its economic chains. People start dreaming of a new future, a world where everyone can finally pursue their real passions. Artists, scholars, travellers. It feels like the dawn of a new renaissance. For the first 48 hours, it's everything we could have ever wanted. Car dealerships bought out. Luxury resorts booked solid for the next decade. Anyone who ever dreamed of owning a boat now has one. This surge in spending feels like a healthy, explosive jolt to the economy. After all, consumer demand is literally infinite. Every single person can afford the best of everything. They are ready to start living their new lives. The world feels perfect. But this perfect world is standing on a trapdoor, and the silence that follows the party is the first sign that the floor is about to give way. It starts not with a bang, but with a quiet, creeping emptiness. Part 2. The first cracks. The first real sign of trouble shows up on the grocery store shelves. They're empty. That first manic shopping spree cleared them out, and there's nobody around to restock them. The truck drivers who deliver the food, they're millionaires now, probably on a beach somewhere. The farmers who grow the crops, they've also retired. The supply chain, that huge complex network of people that keeps the world fed, has just evaporated. The one thing that made it all work, money, is no longer an incentive. Want to grab a celebratory latte from your favourite coffee shop? It's locked. The baristas and the owner are all millionaires. Need gas for that new sports car you just bought? The station's closed. The attendant quit, and the tanker truck never showed up because its driver quit too. All of a sudden, the world is full of people with $1 million in the bank, but they can't buy a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk. The problems escalate with terrifying speed. Flights are grounded. No pilots, no air traffic controllers, no baggage handlers. Hospitals run on skeleton crews. Doctors and nurses, freed from financial obligations, just stay home. Power grids flicker and fail because technicians and engineers are no longer on call. The complex systems that run our civilization are grinding to a halt, not because of a disaster, but because of a universal lack of people doing their jobs. People try to solve the problem by just throwing money at it. A desperately homeowner might offer a plumber $10,000 to fix a burst pipe, but the plumber is also a millionaire. Why would he spend his afternoon crawling under a sink when he doesn't need the money? The very concept of labour is broken. When everyone has more than enough money, the only thing with any real value is a service, and services are performed by people who are no longer for hire. The world has all the money it could ever want, but it's starving for labour. The party is over. The hangover is about to be brutal. Part 3. The economic meltdown. This is where the dream completely falls apart. It's the moment the whole world gets a devastating lesson in economics, not from a textbook, but from cold, hard reality. The concept is called hyperinflation. See, money, whether it's a dollar bill, a gold coin, or just a number on a screen, has no value on its own. It only has value because we all agree it does, and more importantly, because of what it can buy. And what it can buy is decided by the balance of supply and demand. In our new world, the supply of money has skyrocketed by trillions overnight, but the supply of stuff, goods and services hasn't. In fact, it has plummeted because almost no one is working. So now you have a practically infinite amount of money chasing a rapidly shrinking supply of everything else. When that happens, prices don't just rise, they explode. The few people who decide to keep working start to understand their new power. That family-owned donut shop that stayed open, the owner isn't selling a donut for $1 anymore. He knows every single customer is a millionaire, so he might ask for $500 for a single glazed donut and a coffee, and people will pay it. Because what else is their money good for? This isn't just a price hike, it's the currency itself becoming worthless. We've actually seen this happen in history. In Germany's Weimar Republic after World War I, hyperinflation got so bad that people used wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy a loaf of bread. It was literally cheaper to burn money for heat than to buy firewood. In Zimbabwe, in the late 2000s, the government printed $100 trillion bills and prices were doubling almost every day. This is the future our world now faces. That $1 million bank balance that felt like a ticket to paradise is quickly becoming meaningless. A cup of coffee might cost $200, a t-shirt $1,000, a new car, if you could even find one, might cost $50 million. The word millionaire is now just a funny historical term. When everyone is a millionaire, nobody is. The entire financial system, banks, stock markets, insurance companies, it all just stops working. What's the point of a stoplight when every company has no employees and every investor is already rich? What good is a loan when money has no buying power? The social fabric rips apart. The middle class is gone. The line between rich and poor has vanished, but it's a terrifying kind of equality, the equality of shared desperation. The sudden flood of wealth hasn't made everyone rich, it's made everyone poor in a way they never imagined. The dream of a world without financial stress has become a nightmare, where money is the most useless thing you can own. Part 4. The new reality. In the ashes of the global economy, a new world begins to form, one that's been reset to a much more primitive state. Money is a joke. A $1 million bill might be useful for starting a fire, but it won't buy you dinner. The new currency, the only one that truly matters, is skill. Can you grow food? Can you purify water? Can you build a shelter, fix a generator, or set a broken bone? These are the questions that now decide how wealthy you are. A farmer with a field of potatoes is infinitely richer than a former hedge fund manager with a useless digital fortune. A nurse who knows how to treat an infection has a value that can't be measured in a dead currency. Society starts to reorganize itself, not around capital, but around capability. Small communities form, banding together for survival. Bartering becomes the only way to trade. A dozen eggs from your chickens might get you a few hours of labor from someone who can fix your roof. A jar of home-canned fruit is now a luxury good. People start learning skills they'd long forgotten or never bothered to learn in the first place. Gardening, hunting, sewing, building. It's a brutal, difficult life, but it's based on tangible value and human cooperation. But this new world is no utopia. New hierarchies form just as fast as the old ones disappeared. People who control vital resources, a clean well, a patch of fertile land, a stockpile of antibiotics, become the new elite. A small group that owns a working grain mill could hold immense power over an entire region. Inequality doesn't go away, it just changes its clothes. It's no longer about who has the most dollars, but who controls the most essential resources. The massive sprawling cities become dangerous ghost towns. With no sanitation, no power, and no law enforcement, they're just monuments to a failed experiment. People flee to the countryside, trying to build small, self-sufficient farming communities. All the great achievements of our globalized world, instant communication, fast travel, complex technology, are now just relics of a lost age. In this new reality, the meaning of work is reforged. People don't work for money anymore. They work to survive, to contribute to their community, and to create something of actual value. Maybe over time, this leads to a different kind of fulfillment. The artist who can bring stories and beauty to a struggling town is valuable. The engineer who figures out how to get a local power grid running again is a hero. The motivation shifts from personal gain to the well-being of the group. It's a painful and chaotic transition, but it's a world that is forced to rediscover what true value really means. It isn't an abstract number. It's the food you eat, the water you drink, the roof over your head, and the skills you and your neighbours possess. Part 5. What now? This new world would demand a completely different set of skills to get by. The things we value today could become worthless, while practical abilities become the new currency. So what about you? What skill do you have that would be most valuable in a world without money? Would you be a builder, a farmer, a storyteller, a doctor? Let us know down in the comments. And if you find these kinds of thought experiments fascinating, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the biggest what-ifs we can imagine. Part 6. Conclusion. So, what if everyone became a millionaire overnight? The initial joyful dream of universal wealth would quickly curdle into a nightmare of total collapse. It shows us a fundamental truth about our world. A society's wealth isn't the sum of its bank accounts. It's the incredibly complex dance of human skill, labour and cooperation. Money is just the tool we use to organise that dance. And when the tool breaks, the dance falls into chaos. True wealth isn't something you can have. It's something you can do. It's the ability to produce, create and care for one another. Making everyone a millionaire wouldn't sein well. It would just teach us in the hardest way possible what was truly valuable all along. You've been watching Wealth Atlas Official. Navigate global wealth trends to grow your future.